Hey guys, welcome back to the Clarity Room podcast. So, look how cute this Juicy Couture set that I have on right now. It is vintage and I thrifted it in Los Angeles, California in June this year. So, if you are watching this on YouTube, then you can definitely see how vibrant this color is. And if you are listening, then hop onto YouTube and check out the full video. But thank you so much for being here and let's get into it. So, for today's episode, it is episode 4 and it's all about redefining peace in your 20s and how you can protect it. So, obviously, protecting your energy and protecting your peace is so important, especially when you're trying to build a life for yourself, especially in your 20s. So I hope a lot of you listening or watching this can resonate, especially when you are trying to juggle between your work, your life, and also socializing with friends and family, and maybe you're building something for yourself as well. This is also for the ambitious 20 somethings that are listening to my podcast who are wanting to create freedom and clarity in their lives. The first point that I want to talk about is just understanding that energy is actually the most valuable currency that you have. It is the most valuable asset that you have, so you really need to spend it wisely. In saying this is because you can always make back money, but you can never make back the wasted energy. With me navigating my life in my 20s as a night shift worker, being a lab technician, and also trying to build my online business on the side, and this podcast, I really have to notice when my energy is being drained and when it's being charged. And as a listener, you really have to notice these as well. For example, if you're constantly feeling exhausted and tired, even after a long night of sleep, then you really have to take into account what you're giving your energy into and what is draining it. If you've had a really long night's sleep, it's not your body, it's what your energy has been going into. And it might be different from case to case because I am a night shift worker. So I pretty much run on like 5 to 6 hours of sleep during the day, and then I take a 2-hour nap before I go to work. So it's quite different because it is pretty much broken up sleep. And most of the time, it's not very quality sleep. So if you're a night shift worker or a shift worker listening to this, you could probably definitely relate. Number 2 is be wary of the people and the environments that drain you. This includes surrounding yourself by people who only gossip and complain about their life and don't do anything to better it. You know that saying, you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with? Then this means if you surround yourself by 5 people who only gossip and it literally drives your life, then you will become the 6th person doing the same thing. And it's the same with if you surround yourself by 5 to 6 and even 7-figure business owners, then you are more likely to become a 7-figure business owner as well, a millionaire. In saying this, you really have to surround yourself with people who support you and who see your vision. And if you listen to the last episode that I had released, it is about navigating my 20s using the Let Them Theory, the book and concept by Mel Robbins, then obviously you will realize that a lot of these points are overlapped with the stuff that I talked about in that episode. So you really have to surround yourself by people who will support your vision, and even if they don't really necessarily see it, the right people will eventually come. The types of environments that can drain you also include when you are pressured to say yes to specific favors and certain events. Nowadays, a lot of relationships, whether it's friendships or formal relationships like in business, most of it feels like transactional. But obviously, if they are truly your friend and if they are truly wanting to do something for you, then they wouldn't do it just for them to expect you to do it back. At the same time, the loyal people in your life will just automatically do this without asking or expecting anything in return, and you should do the same. Another environment that can drain you is actually our workplaces. So these could be workplaces that might not necessarily align with your future values and goals. And at the same time, you really just have to put up that boundary that when you are not clocked in at work, you are not expected to think about and even just waste your energy thinking about it. In saying this, I am a lab technician, so as soon as I clock outside of work, I really have to put it aside because sometimes I think about the things that have happened or what I could have done better or something like that. But of course, this just has to be taken into account on my next shift. A job is a job and it pays your bills, but at the same time, you have to protect your peace and energy when you can. You really have to learn how to detach from people and even environments with grace so you don't feel guilty in the end. So ask yourself, who do I feel lighter around and who do I feel heavier around? Number three, always know that boundaries is not selfish, but it's actually self respect. This includes setting boundaries with your partner, with your friends, your family, and even in the online space. This is actually very relatable for me as someone who works in the online space for my online business, my podcast, but also sharing my life on there. Boundaries can actually help you protect the person that you are wanting to become in the future. At the same time, you also have to say no without over explaining anything. I think as a recovering people pleaser, like I mentioned in the last episode, saying no without over explaining used to be so hard for me. And it's just something that we have to do in order to protect our peace and energy. Just remember that boundaries aren't walls, they are actually filters that keep your peace safe. I'm hoping that you can't hear the sirens in the background because there's so many and hopefully it's not noisy. Number four, having digital boundaries. Social media can actually drain your energy so much, especially when you are doom scrolling more than 30 minutes a day. I know most of us get home from work and we're exhausted and drained, and we tend to just hop on our phone, and this could last for up to 2 hours, and you might not even realize it's been that long until you look at the clock. But the reality is, muting and unfollowing people who don't necessarily align with the person that you want to become is actually okay. I've had to do this, and trust me, it actually helps so much. In saying this, you're able to curate your feed into seeing people and what they do as inspiration instead of comparing yourself with someone else. And also comparing our lives with someone else because the reality is people's social media is just highlights of their lives in a 1 minute reel. The tip I have for this one is don't consume more than you create. That is one of the reasons why I started this podcast. I was consuming so much and I wanted to create something that was my own. Your peace is actually in the balance, so you really have to find that sweet spot. Number five is protecting your energy at work and even at side hustles that you have. I think with today's culture, a lot of the hustle culture is normalized, and most of the time, if we're not doing anything productive, we just tend to beat ourselves up. And when we're resting and relaxing, we're actually not doing it properly because we just think that we could be doing something productive right now. And I think with this is you really just have to set aside a time for yourself, a time to relax and recharge. So this might be doing quiet activities by yourself and even going for nature walks as well. At the same time, if you work full time, you really need to not let it drain you because your energy is bruh, because your energy is truly meant for your dreams and the hobbies that you have outside of work. Like I said earlier, you really need to find time for your hobbies and so your creativity doesn't burn you out. This can also include creating a morning and evening routine that will ground you. So when you wake up first in the morning, you're able to set yourself up good for the day. And when you come home, you're able to wind down properly. You can have a good rest in the nighttime. Number six is protecting your peace in relationships, whether this is a romantic relationship, your friendships, or even formal relationships like my business partners and my online business. You really need to let go of people who misunderstand you and people who make you feel small. And you also need to learn how to detach from people and certain things. And reality is, peace is more than just attachment. You can still love someone but give them space and distance yourself from them. Sometimes peace looks like distance, and that's okay. If you protect your space, you can really protect your energy and peace. Number seven is protecting your inner world. This might mean meditating, journaling, or even doing small things like checking in with yourself. I love to go on nature walks in the forest or by the river, and this really helps me ground myself. Also, being in the sunshine and not just staying inside every single day. I know that here in New Zealand, it is now spring, so we've just come out of our winter season, but Don't get me wrong, it's been raining for the past 3 weeks, and today was actually the first full day of sunshine that we've had. So going for a walk today actually grounded me so much, and it was definitely well needed. During these quiet moments, you can actually reflect and learn on what it is that you need to focus on, and at the same time, what you can improve on as a person. For me personally, it's about learning how to pause, especially during situations and maybe during heated arguments, instead of just reacting straight away. Don't get me wrong, peace is not about having problems, but it's just how you respond to it. Number 8, which is the last one but not the least, redefining peace in your 20s doesn't necessarily mean isolation. It actually means having emotional stability within yourself. You really need to prioritize calm over chaos, and you need to learn how to literally sit with yourself. Especially when chasing goals, sometimes peace is not necessarily exciting, but it's the little things, the mundane things that actually help build a routine and that will help you work towards your bigger goals. So I think my closing message is that choosing peace, especially in your 20s, doesn't mean you're unmotivated, and it also doesn't mean that you're antisocial. It just means that you're mature enough to know that not everything deserves your peace and energy. It just means that you're mature enough to know that not everything deserves your peace and energy. So, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I really enjoyed filming this one actually. If you guys have any topic ideas for me to do that is revolved around business, life, and mindset, then definitely reach out and let me know. And also, please rate this podcast and comment down below your thoughts on each episode. And happy Friday, guys. I will see you on my next episode. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. This is the Clarity Room podcast, and I'm your host, Aline Claire. If you want to watch the full video of these episodes, make sure to follow my YouTube channel, The Clarity Room Podcast. And if you want to learn a little bit more about my online business and how you can start your own side hustle using social media, then my socials will be in the show notes below. Connect with me if you want to learn more. Otherwise, I will see you guys in my next episode. Bye, guys. Have a good day. And remember that nothing changes if nothing changes. I think protecting peace, especially in your 20s, is so important because we tend to be distracted by so many things, especially with technology and AI and social media nowadays. It is literally built to keep us distracted. And we don't even realize that we are being distracted by doom scrolling endlessly. Because at the end of the day, like, have you ever actually scrolled until your For You page or your feed was finished? I don't think anyone has ever gotten to the bottom of it because more and more videos just get added. And your algorithm is actually kept in order to put the stuff that you like and the interests that you like on there so that you're constantly hooked to it. At the same time, so many companies and brands actually paid thousands and millions of dollars for people who are seeing and liking their ads. And also, that's how we get influenced by so many things. Whether this is seeing something that you want to buy or seeing a place that you want to go visit, it's constantly influencing us and wanting us to either buy something or do something more for ourselves. And this can be a good thing or a bad thing. It really depends on what you curate your feed with. I know that my For You page now is definitely filled with people who are trying to make something for themselves, especially 20-something-year-olds, because I can definitely relate more with them. And also people who love traveling, who are trying to build a business, and just like-minded people in general. At the same time, this can also be a positive thing because we can be influenced to do better things. Like, I have definitely been influenced to maybe start running in the near future and also to try reformer Pilates, and that's how I got started because the pink and coquette aesthetic in doing Pilates was definitely like what sold me, not gonna lie, but I took myself to go this one time and I've loved going. I just haven't been consistent lately because of exhaustion from work, and that's just the reality of things. Back to the topic of redefining peace in your 20s. This can also mean distancing yourself from certain things and certain people who may not align with who you want to be and who you currently are. Just because they have been a part of your history and a part of your past doesn't mean that they have to be around much longer. You can distance yourself and eventually cut them off if they are not aligning with who you want to be as a person. You really have to protect your peace and energy and put it something that you actually want to grow and something that you actually want to work on. This includes trying to create new friendships and also trying to have new people in your life in general, because especially in your 20s you have seasons where friends come and go, and of course only the real ones stay. And shout out to you if you're my friend listening or watching this episode, because you are a real one. If it matters to you, then it's important, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You really have to make time for whatever brings you joy, because at the end of the day, it is only you that you have for yourself. So, those were the main points that I wanted to talk about in this episode. I probably had so many in my head at the time when I was writing out my notes, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you on my next podcast episode. Bye for now.